All right, Kevin McCullough, glad to have you back from New York. Laura Trump is my very special guest. And Laura, we've learned some things since the 2020 election cycle. What have we learned, and are we ready to fight for election integrity in 2024 from where you sit?
Yeah, well, I was going to say hindsight is 2020, not to use the 2020 again, but it really is.
No pun intended. Got it.
Yeah, no pun intended there. Look, the reality is we all have learned so much. I mean, the country as a whole has learned so much, but I think the Republican Party, and certainly as a campaign, the Trump campaign has learned a lot. And you're right. I mean, we didn't know what we were in for really in 2020. Why you would need ballots and suitcases, I'm not sure. All the mail-in voting, all the hijinks, as you just put it, certainly caught us off guard. I will be very honest. There was a lot more that we should have been prepared for. This time around, I can guarantee you we are prepared, and we are prepared in many different ways. The truth is, if you look at the Republican Party as a whole, we have never fought the same way and done elections in quite the same way in recent history as the Democrats. They get down in the dirt. We know how they do it. And unfortunately, we've always felt as a party like, oh, we're above that. We can't. No, we have to play the same game the Democrats are playing, or we will continue to lose. So that is why we have one of the largest ballot harvesting operations across this country. Everywhere it is legal, I will say that. Sometimes unlike how they do it on the other side, everywhere it is legal, we are ballot harvesting in this country. We want people at every single polling location across America, and we want them on rotation so that not a single thing is missed. If you want to volunteer, you can go to donaldjtrump.com/volunteer. We want you as a poll watcher. We want you knocking doors. We cannot leave anything to chance in 2024 because you see the results if you do. And the truth is, we've got to win by such a big margin. It doesn't matter how many 3 a.m. dumps they have. Doesn't matter how many ballots and suitcases they have. Donald Trump will be named as the 47th president.
Well, here's the interesting thing. So for a few election cycles, I had been doing prediction maps where I would pick who I thought would win which state and how it would work out. And since George W. Bush, the second term, I had gotten it fairly correct. In fact, I was the first person, I don't say this to my credit, I didn't want him to become president, but 2 years before Barack Obama became president, I predicted that he would be, and I based it on 5 indicators, and I said, if he hits 3 of the 5, he wins, and he got 4 of the 5, so he won. Rush Limbaugh read it on his show. It was a big deal. But the point is I try to pay attention to these markers that are taking place in the culture at large. And I was very concerned in 2020. The strength of your father-in-law was that he had never been a politician, and he didn't care about being a politician, and people loved him for not being a politician. And the Achilles heel in 2020 was that the Trump campaign had not been in politics to know the kind of the bare-fistedness that was going to be leveled at them. So we have a chance to fix that this time, and that's what my hope is. Let me ask you on a personal level. There's a lot, and there's so much that's going wrong in the country, from national defense to energy policy to, as you already mentioned, the gender theory stuff in schools. You know, across the board, there are all these things that voters can and should be worried about. I'm just curious, not in your life as a Trump or as a celebrity or as a former beauty queen or anything like that, just as an everyday mom talking to the people in your neighborhood, that kind of thing. What's on people's minds this election cycle?
It's the economy. And there are no two ways about it. I mean, the truth is you can't look around and say anyone is better off now than they were when Donald Trump was in office. And whenever it hits people's bottom line, when it hits their pocketbooks, when they talk about the jobs, the Biden administration loves to talk about all the jobs, it's because people are having to work 2 and 3 jobs just to make ends meet right now. Yeah, it's ridiculous. Of course, like no one's falling for it, but it really boils down to the economy. And when people cannot maintain the same quality of life that they had 4 years ago, they have to make a change. And I do believe that it is on everyone's minds. Look, you talk about the energy policy. I would say the first move that Joe Biden made as president of the United States, of course, his first executive order was shutting down the Keystone XL pipeline. That caused gas prices to go up. It enriched Russia. It enriched Iran. It allowed Russia to invade Ukraine. It allowed Iran to fund Hamas, who obviously has caused all these horrific situations in Israel now. The snowball effect of bad decisions by one person, Joe Biden, has caused hell across not just this country, but around the entire world. And people feel it, and they know they have to make a change.
DonaldJTrump.com if you want to volunteer and get involved. Laura, thank you so much. Best wishes to Eric and the entire family.
Thank you so much.
Kevin McCullough coming right back from New York. She changed that dial.
Ready or not, we'll be right back.